do you think that there are too many superhero shows and movies? And because I remember when I did Smallville, there were none.
Yeah, I do think there's too many.
So what do you do about that?
But I don't think it's much less a problem of too many. And yes, we're not going to overextend ourselves at DC. We're going to be very careful with the product that we put out and making sure everything is as good as it can possibly be. But I think that what's happened is people have gotten really lazy with their superhero stories, and they have gotten to the place where, it's a superhero, let's make a movie about it, you know? And let's make a sequel because the first one did pretty well. And they aren't thinking about, why is this story special? What makes this story stand apart from other stories? What is the story at the heart of it all? Why is this character important? What makes this story different that it fills a need for people in theaters to go see, or on television?
And that's a hard thing, isn't it?
And I think that it's just that's kind of gotten, people have gotten a little lazy, and there's a lot of, biff pow bam stuff happening in movies. And like, I'm watching third acts of superhero films where I really just don't feel like there's a rhyme or reason to what's happening.
You don't care.
I don't care about the characters.
Right.
And it's and they've gotten too generic. Like there's this sort of middle of the road type of genre tone that so many superhero movies have, as opposed to having very different genres. I mean, I like very serious superhero movies. I like very comedic superhero movies. I like ones that are really just, a murder mystery, but it's, with superheroes. I like to see these different types of stories as opposed to seeing the same story told over and over again. Right. I don't know how many times I don't want to go off on anything.
No, you're not. But it's honest, and I think people really need to hear that because it's sincere in a sense that you're also a fan, and you want to make movies that have impact, that have them that people want to see, and not recycle things. So you want to sort of condense it to let's make something that we really, not that people don't work hard on everything they do. Everybody works hard, but the stories have to be more compelling.
Yeah, and I think that also, people say superhero fatigue. But I think that, you see now that it's not a real thing. People are fatigued with repetition. And I don't think it's really just superhero movies. I think you're seeing it happening now. It's spectacle films in general,
I think it's more than that. I think, when's the last great comedy? Can you remember the last great comedy?
Yeah, but there are so few of them made that you don't have, but there's a lot of spectacle films made, and they just have gotten really generic, and they've gotten boring, and they aren't about characters, and there's no emotion to them. And there should be emotion in things no matter what. Like that should always be there. Some type of emotion. I'm not saying it can't be really light. I'm not saying it can't be really heavy. I'm saying there should be some sort of
You're right,
emotion.
and that goes with horror and comedy and everything.
That's right.
It's just all the...
You got to care, like in a horror movie, if you like that main character, then you're much more scared when they're about to
If you
get
care
killed.
about them.
Exactly.
If you take the time to make...
The stakes matter.
And it doesn't even matter big stars. Think about it. If you put out a movie, let's say James Gunn put out a movie with for DC, or you made another Marvel's a Suicide. This guy was DC. But if you put it out there and it was a bunch of no names, if the trailer's great, people are going to see it. They don't care if so-and-so's in my opinion, especially horror movies, maybe not as much in the big Marvel DC universe. Maybe you need some stars, but like for the
I'm telling you, no, it's much more important to me that the actor fits the role.